For the first time in more than a decade, the Dallas Stars have won a playoff series at home. Can you tell? Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said he can't believe how much the draft has evolved over the years in terms of visibility and interest. There's certainly plenty of both tonight across the country. One of the first things they tell you as a kid is not to fight, right? It's one of the first things, and yet adults can't get enough of it. Boxing, UFC, the movie Taken. Football is just as barbaric. We watch it every weekend, but once a punch is thrown, that's just too far. And some of the world's best golfers having a tough time with the wind. We just spoke with fan favorite Jordan Spieth, who said the gusts were much stronger today than yesterday.
More importantly, have you ever used a phone booth?
I sent a fax once.
That counts.
Oh, man.
That counts.
Long time ago. Opening day is like a first date. Optimism is at an all-time high. Growing up, I wanted to play in the NBA. A lot of boys dream of that, right? But that dream died when I stopped growing at 5'10", and also I'm terrible at free throws. I should be good, but I'm not. But when I was 13, I turned to my dad and told him I want to be a sportscaster. A lot of boys dream of that too. So over the next 15 years, my parents encouraged me to follow my dream through the highs, the lows, the self-doubt, and the self-actualization. I wouldn't be standing here today doing what I love to do if it weren't for their love and support. I don't tell them that enough. I don't thank them enough. So I waited till I was in studio at the best local station in the country to say thank you, Mom, and thank you, Dad, for believing in me, even in times when I didn't believe in myself. And I want to say thank you for letting this boy's dream become a reality. News 8 at 6. We'll be right back. That was until last Thursday, when a woman officially accused Porzingis of rape, an incident which allegedly occurred on the same night he suffered the knee injury 14 months ago. Porzingis is currently under investigation by the New York Police Department. His attorney has denied the allegation, saying it's a case of extortion. As of now, no charges have been filed. Meanwhile, questions have been raised about how much the Mavericks knew before the trade. And if they did know anything, what gave them reason to follow through with it? Mavericks owner Mark Cuban hinted as to why when I sat down with him this morning.
I think people get the sense that we just turned a blind eye and we couldn't and we didn't, and the NBA certainly wouldn't as well.
So you're saying that there was transparency on both sides?
I can't go into any of that, but just realize that it's we're not going to turn a blind eye to anything, and that the NBA certainly is protective of, is aware and cognizant of those issues as well, and is not going to turn a blind eye, and that's probably the best way to understand it. The NBA is not going to authorize or approve anything without that they're aware of, without digging in.
If you read the tea leaves there or just listen closely, Cuban felt comfortable with the Porzingis trade because the NBA would not have signed off on it without doing its due diligence. And if the NBA was okay with it, Cuban was too. Did you watch Sunday's game, Cowboys-Eagles? It was like a movie. Drama, suspense, and almost everyone who bought a ticket went home happy. Amari Cooper, well, he deserves an Oscar for his performance, but I did not appreciate the supporting actors trying to steal the show, the referees. Flags were flying all over the place. At one point, they threw a flag and said, "There's no penalty on the play." Great, thanks. I'm surprised they didn't throw a flag on the coin toss for overtime. 11 penalties on the Cowboys, the most they've had all year. You know, I find it ironic that the guys in black and white are in charge of so much gray area. Now, as much as I want to blame the refs, really the league is to blame for the increase in penalties. Last week, the NFL issued a mandate for refs to crack down on offensive holding. Of the Cowboys' 11 penalties Sunday, 5 of them were for offensive holding. Scoring is way up this year, and this mandate helps level the playing field a bit for defenses, but it doesn't help the fan. Are we watching football or capture the flag? When it comes to those yellow things on the field, I'm waving the white one. I'm Jonah Javad. Enjoy the day. I spoke to Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott the other day. The point he made was quite simple. If they fall behind early, they're forced to throw the ball, which means he doesn't get many touches. But if they're able to keep the game close, they're able to run the ball more effectively. And that's what we saw tonight, especially early on. Dallas was able to jump out to an early lead. And then Zeke jumped into every highlight reel you're going to see all week long. Now, as great as Zeke was, as efficient as Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott was, no one needed this win more than head coach Jason Garrett and offensive coordinator Scott Linehan. Under fire all week after that embarrassing loss Monday night to Tennessee, and they responded. The Cowboys entered at 3-5 on a 2-game losing streak, winless on the road. And of course, as we see in the NFL, anything can happen, so they march into Philly, beat the Super Bowl champion Eagles, a win they absolutely had to have, and they got it. Wasn't always perfect, wasn't always pretty, but Dale, as you know, a win is certainly a win. I thought it was going to be a nice, quiet day in sports. I thought wrong. Jason Witten, the future Hall of Fame tight end, is back in the saddle, riding back from the sunset and returning to the Dallas Cowboys. Witten called it quits in May, moving from the field to the broadcast booth as the lead analyst for ESPN's Monday Night Football. But early into this new role, it was pretty obvious. Broadcasting wasn't a natural fit for him. So fast forward to this afternoon, the statement issued by Witten today: "The fire inside of me to compete and play this game is just burning too strong. This was completely my decision, and I am very comfortable with it. I'm looking forward to getting back in the dirt." The franchise leader in receptions and receiving, back for a 16th season at age 36, going on 37. WFAA's Rebecca Lopez is live at AT&T Stadium, where fans are already lining up for the season opener. Rebecca.